Yeah, this is Paul. Yeah, I was just reading this You and the Law. Yeah. And, I was telling you about the lottery and how a lot of those that are on welfare, yeah. Well, they have parties to crimes, principals, accessories, and accomplices. Yeah. Those who actually commit or perpetrate the crime, whether a felony or a misdemeanor, are called principals. Then there's accessories before the fact, are those who, although absent when it was committed, the act was committed, nevertheless participate in it by procuring, counseling, or ordering the principal to commit the act. Yeah. Accessories before the fact are now commonly regarded as principals because the law doesn't try to distinguish. And then there's accessories after the fact. Yeah. Then there's accomplices, is a person knowingly, willingly participates in the commission of a crime, whether a felony or a misdemeanor. Now, let's say, okay, you issued a protection order where I wasn't served and the petitioner didn't sign it. And I email those in law enforcement and I inform them that it violates my right to due process. And I provided a copy of it. Now, the first crime is violating the constitutional rights of Americans. So let's say Brent Based by himself. Yes. Well, the thing would have been to do is to remove the protection order that is violating my 14th Amendment right to due process. And I informed those in law enforcement that's what they have to do. Well, they must have disagreed. So once you decided that you're going to violate my civil rights, you became the principal of another crime called violating the civil rights of American citizens. Now, let's say sheriff, police officers, those that are elected or appointed oaths of office, those that are attorneys. When I inform them from approximately September 1st, now I can go through my emails, every email address that I had emailed, to December 31st, that gave them plenty of time to remove the protection order, and that was in 2015. But instead, they decided they weren't going to enforce the due process rights of Americans. Well, then they decided to arrest me when I wasn't in a city. Maybe it was Officer Corey Hall that said, well, we're just going to have to put the guy in jail. Now, I don't think their original plan was to have me go to Western State Hospital, but after a certain number of crimes violating my right to a speedy trial, not allowing me to call witnesses on my behalf, not allowing me to get the evidence that I wasn't in Sequim on December 31st, all of a sudden there's a whole bunch more principals and accomplices. Now, when you think about it, the accessories, the principals, and the accomplices. Now, what I do is I continue to email those that have the legal or the professional liability for the enforcement of the law. and instead of them enforcing the law, they decided that they were going to aid and abet those that are violating my civil rights. They themselves became accessories after the fact. Now, instead of just official misconduct, since I'm sitting here on the street without my civil rights, every oath of office that knows about the crime of violating my right to due process since 2011 can be charged with the, what is it again? Participate accessories after the fact. Knowing a crime has been committed, assist the principal to avoid capture or arrest or to escape. Now, when you're assisting those that have issued a protection order where there's no petitioner signature, where there's forgeries on that document, where the respondent wasn't given actual notice and opportunity to be heard, and you yourself know you're now an accessory to the crime of violating my civil rights and the civil rights of my sons. Now, I could not understand why I had not gotten an email. And it seems like those that are in law enforcement, they think that being an an accomplice, an accessory after the fact when the crime had been committed of violating my civil rights. That I wouldn't take everything they own, wouldn't sue their cities so as to cause them to be unincorporated, firing every elected or appointed public official in every city of the United States, and then taking everything that every city has. I'm going to call you back.